All right, good morning, gentlemen. Welcome to It's Just a Game of Two Halves. Now, we've got a double header today of our videos. So I'm here with Paul and Jamie. How are you, gents?
Yeah, very good, Rob. Cheers, mate. Nice to see you.
Yeah,
All good, thanks, buddy.
good. It's lovely and sunny here, and I've just got the brisket on the barbecue, so it should be a nice evening for me. I'm gonna start off. This is a World Cup show, and I'm gonna start off with: did anyone watch the England friendly last night, Paul?
Afraid not, mate. I decided to watch the boxing instead. Yeah.
Well, that's what I did. Jamie, did you watch that last night?
Well, it's 1-0 to you and Paul, mate, because unfortunately, yeah, I did. It was a tough watch, to be honest. It was a bit boring and didn't need me sleeping pill last night when I went to bed, put it that way.
So what was it? Kane scored, didn't he? I read it.
Yeah, to be fair, it was a good head. The cross come in and he sort of just glanced it on. It was a good header. Found a fast stick nicely. It was a well taken goal, but yeah, we huffed and puffed and sort of just made hard work of it. Really, it was like a glorified training session, really, with lots of changes and even some of the players are actually not in the final squad, which I don't really see the point of. But yeah, I don't get it why they're even there, to be honest.
Unless it's for injuries. How hot was it there? Because I think this is going to affect teams.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, they took the drinks breaks. Like, I don't know why they don't stop the clock for these drinks breaks, which is just a bit weird. They could just stop when the ref goes like after 22 minutes, we're stopping for a break. They swan off and they leave the clock running. So as he stopped the game, why not just stop the clock so you know bang on what you're sort of missing, because that always gets misinterpreted, I think, towards the end of a game. But yeah, they said it was 32 degrees out in Tampa. And I mean, I've been out in Florida, and you literally you can walk down the street and your back's wet. I mean, it's a proper humid place anyway, so it must have took a lot out of them, and it is going to affect not just us, but like the other European teams as well. I mean, in the history of the World Cup, I think it has happened now, but until sort of 10, 14 years ago, something like that, like a European side had never won in sort of South America or Africa, and it was the other way round. They'd never won it in Europe, but I think that got broke a couple of tournaments ago. But it definitely is a thing.
Yeah, I think Germany did it, didn't they? In Brazil, I think that was the one that
Yeah,
broke.
they did. Yeah.
Right.
And I think because a lot of these sort of South Americans and African players are playing in Europe now anyway, so they're probably less acclimatized to the hot heat than maybe they would have been when the whole Brazil team played in Brazil, right? But now half of them are well, a lot of them are over in England, aren't they? I mean,
Mm.
they probably lose their ability to play in the heat. They're acclimatized to our weather.
Oh, I think it's difficult. Well, we'll see. Obviously, we want England to do well, but been wanting that to go well for over 50 years. It ain't happened. So I do want to go back though, a little bit back in time. And I'll start with you, Jamie. What's one of your favourite World Cup in a sense?
Favourite World Cups, probably you're about the same age as me, so I'd imagine it's probably Italian '90. That
But you've
seems
all
to
got
have
the
been
same
like the
there.
peak
Yeah.
of all World Cups, didn't it? I mean, maybe because at the time I was sort of 13, sort of that window between sort of 12 and 15 before, when you're old enough to sort of understand what's going on and you haven't quite found a pub yet and all that. I suppose that little window. And it was like kind of a magical time, wasn't it? Where they were all your heroes and you knew all the players, and do you know what I mean? And it was a special World Cup, that, with the Ness and Dormer and like the song and the world in motion we had, weren't it? It was good times, wasn't
I get goosebumps listening to
Yeah.
that.
it? Yeah, still do.
What about you, Paul? Same?
Well, I was exactly the same because I wasn't quite pub drinking age, but we were in the pub for Italia '90. I was 17, I think, at the time. So I think that played a big part of it. But also I don't think England had qualified for the previous Euros, I think in '88. And no one was expecting anything, I don't think. And if I remember correctly, we were kind of lucky to get out the group. I think we had a couple of draws and then a win. And then we just built this momentum. And all of a sudden, you start thinking, we might do this. Because it was a really good team. If you remember, you had what, Shilton, you had Des Walker,
Yeah.
you had a prime Gascoigne, you had a Lineker, a Beardsley, a Waddle, David Platt. I mean, it should have done well, that team, and it did. And I think we were really unlucky because certainly the semi against Germany, I mean, they were a brilliant team. You had
Yeah.
Mateus in there, and yeah, they were a really serious, proper side. And we almost did it. The bit that always gets me is when the ball comes across and Gaza slides in. I think that's in extra time, and he misses it by about 2 inches. All we had to do was get his foot on it, and it was in the goal. We would have won. We were
Weren't
in the
that Euro
final.
'96 that went across with Gaza sliding in?
No, there's one in the Germany game, wasn't
Was
there? There's
there?
two, wasn't there?
Oh, did it?
Yeah,
Oh, you had a chance in that, and
mm,
all did he?
yeah,
Well, I remember it. You're
yeah.
right. Very emotional. It was a buzz. I remember that. Was it Platt against Belgium scoring that fantastic? I don't know, like half volley or something with in
Mm,
injury time or extra time.
Yeah,
I think as well it was the moment, weren't it? 1990 was I was same age as Paul, so it was we were in the guy watching most of the games
mm,
underage, like most of that pub was. But it was the atmosphere, and you're right. You knew every player. Hard to always, obviously, to lose on penalties, but that seems to be an English thing. But you got to give it to Germans; they were a great team that year. And
but it was weird. It was quite weird because, like, looking like I always thought, like, oh, weren't we good? Didn't we have a good team? And we did. Like the players you've just rattled off, they were brilliant, brilliant players. But like, we really did stutter through the tournament when you look back on it. We sort of,
mm,
I think we drew against Ireland, didn't we, in the group? Drew against Ireland, drew against Holland, which was 0-0. I mean, Holland had a pretty good team then. They had Hullet and Van Basten, but they
mhm.
misfired that tournament as well. And then I think we got a late goal to beat Egypt, didn't we, to
Yeah.
get into the qualifiers. And then Cameroon nearly knocked us out. We was 7 minutes away from getting knocked out by Cameroon until Lineker got a penalty. And look, we sort of probably played our best game against Germany in the semis, really.
I
I
think we
think
kind of grew into the tournament, didn't we?
Yeah.
We started off bad, and I think that is the secret actually. So I'm never that worried. I know you said like last night's game, but that doesn't really mean anything anyway, does it? Particular,
No.
but I'd much rather grow into a tournament than be in red hot form now and burn out when you get to the big games. So I think that's the secret to it, especially over in America, like you say, with the weather. That you've got to just get through the group, haven't you, without
Yeah.
expending too much energy, and then see where you end up.
See, I look at that with tournaments, and like my dad, when I was younger, he pulled out. It was West Germany. He said when I was a baby, pulled them out. The sweepstake was over the moon because he said no matter what happens, they know how to play in tournaments.
Mm.
And actually, when you think about it, you're right. Growing into it, even Argentina won the last one, and didn't they lose to Saudi Arabia in a group game?
Yes, they
So
did. I've got a list of sort of upsets on another
Yeah.
screen, and they did.
yeah,
They lost their first game and then went on to win it. It's
I think the team that wins it obviously has to be good, but I think the manager has to manage each game. And you're right, you don't want to peak in the group smashing people
That's
6.
right. And even in 1990, I mean, Argentina got to the final, didn't they, against West Germany? And they lost to Cameroon, I think, in their opening game as well
mm,
in that World Cup as well.
You see, so that's funny. So that does bring me on. So I'll do this. We'll switch it around a bit for shocks because I wrote down a few as well. But what view was a massive shock that you've seen in the World Cup, Jamie?
Well, the one that sticks to mind was the freak result when in Brazil when Germany beat them 7-1, and was that in a semi? I mean, I
Yeah.
remember being gobsmacked, like literally, like the goals just never stopped. It was about 5-0 after about 25 minutes, half hour, something like that. And I remember just sitting there like open mouthed. You couldn't believe what he was watching, could you?
because it was in Brazil as well, wasn't it? I mean,
Yeah,
I think it was just that weight of expectation just crippled them on the day, didn't it? You're either going to thrive on it or it's going to break you,
yeah.
because that shouldn't happen at international. If you're playing San Marino or someone like that, you might even these days it's probably quite hard to put seven past someone. But yeah, unbelievable result that one.
Riding, weren't it? One I remember was when Senegal beat France. I was working in Central London at the time, and we all bunked off to go to the pub, thinking France were going to smash them. They were champions, weren't they? They lost.
Mm.
What about you, Paul? What's a shock result or a
Well,
freak?
the one of all time, which I'm not old enough for, but was the US beating England. That's I think is known as the biggest shock of all time, because the US team was full of like mailmen and dustmen. I mean, they weren't even footballers, you know. So that was unbelievable. But it wasn't only talk about sort of Germany growing into the tournament. I'll just look at Algeria beat Germany in 1982. 3-2. You
Yeah.
know,
Well,
so these and there's lots of them. There's lots and lots of these funny results. I think we all focus in on, you must win every game, but you actually don't. It's to lose your first game I don't think really matters, and especially this year, I think with this expanded tournament, I think you really can afford to have a fairly weak group phase. But
I'm wondering if a lot of teams will be plotting a route. Now, I know Jamie's got this because he's got every permutation possible written down, right? Because he's interested in that. But I wonder if some managers will be looking at these groups and the possible path, and after the first game or second game, will be making a plan. Do I want to come first or second?
Yeah.
I think we could see a bit of that.
well, I think as much as I'm sort of split on Southgate whether he was good or not. But what I think he was very good at was looking at previous tournaments. I know he looked at the French side and the Spain side, and he did look at how do you play a tournament rather than like the crash bang wallop. Like so, we're playing San Marino in the first game. We've got to go and put 10 past them. You haven't. You've just got to get one. You've just got to win, right? So I think Southgate was really good at playing the tournament. I think his in-game management was suspect at times, but I think that is key. And I think with Tuchel, who might just be the cleverest manager out there, I'm fairly convinced that he will have that sort of plan going forwards.
I hope so. What about a really funny moment? I know we had like some celebrations and the Roger Miller dance around the corner flag, weren't it? I think, and everyone trying to copy it.
Ronaldo's haircut, Brazilian Ronaldo's haircut. We've just, which I wish I could have. But it's
like some kid did it, wasn't it? Some kid got it with some clippers and. What about sorry, go on, Paul.
I was going to say the other one that sort of just tickled me, and it's probably just my perverse sense of humour, is when Roy Keane walked out. And him and who's the guy? McCarthy going at it. That just tickled me. Yeah.
He just got the ump, didn't he? And that was it. So you're like, what about you, Joe? Some funny memory?
No, I mean, it's not a memory. I mean, remember when, you won't remember because none of us are old enough. Remember Antonio Ratin in the 1966, I think it was a quarter-final, England-Argentina, and he got sent off for dissent and refused to walk because he was saying he didn't say anything. And the referee said it was violence of the tongue, even though he couldn't speak Spanish. And it took him 10 minutes to leave the pitch. He went and sat down on the red carpet. It was there for the Queen to walk on. And eventually the old Bill had to go and get him and remove him. Do you know what I mean? It's like that started the tensions between England and Argentina, even before the Falklands and Maradona's cheating and all that.
Well, they have got a form for it, Argentina. Who was it they gave? It was against, I think it was Brazil in one of them. They gave him a drink bottle that had a sedative in it. And it made him like half dozy. I can't remember who it was. I'll try and have a look in a minute. I did look that up. They gave him a sedative in it. Like, there you go, mate. You know, it's really hot. Have a drink. And then, I'm not feeling too great. So they got form for it.
Well, they reckon as well. I read a story yesterday that before the 1974 World Cup final between West Germany and Holland, the Germans sent in a load of birds to the Holland hotel for the night, and they was all kind of fraternising with the Dutch players and having sort of pool parties and all that. And obviously it got back to the wives and they all kicked off, and they'd spent most of the night trying to like smooth over with a missus back indoors and all that. And then obviously the World Cup final was the next day and they got done. But how much truth was in that sort of story, I don't know, but I only stumbled upon it yesterday.
There's some incredible stories. If I could get my dad on here, he'd know loads of these stories, because it was the 70s, the 60s, 70s were just nuts, weren't they?
Yeah.
One of my
And I
favourite.
think as well, you never saw these players anywhere else. I mean, probably Italia 90 might have been the last one because the players then started coming across. Klinsmann, I think, didn't he come over to Spurs after that one and stuff? So you only saw these players. So I think I think when I look back on it, they become more magical, because it's not that I ever saw Zico play for Barcelona or anything, because you just never saw it unless you're a Liverpool fan or maybe a Forest fan. You never played any European games anyway, right? So I think these things are more magical now. It's more spread. Like I say, half the Brazil team are over here anyway. You
Yeah,
can see them every week if you want, So
now on videos and everything, you've got it. So what I'm going to do, guys, this is something we want to do, and Martin and Charlie are doing it at the minute as well on their video, or the one they did earlier, rather, is I want to go through, and this is kind of impossible, but we're going to do it, is I want to get your best World Cup 11. Now, you can choose your own criteria. Like, I've chosen players that I've seen play, but you can have... you can choose it as you want. There's no wrong answer. I just thought it'd be an interesting topic. And if anyone agrees or disagrees or we've forgotten someone, stick it in the comments and we'll have a look at it. So I'm going to go. Paul, do you have your World Cup 11?
I do. And this team's probably going to have to score about 15 just to get a draw. But we'll...
So let's go. Talk us through it, mate.
Well, it's really hard because, like you say, you've got your favourites and your best, and you're trying to find the balance. But I've done the same as you, Rob. I've done it on players that I've seen. So I've got Buffon in goal. I've got a back four of Roberto. Get my words out. Roberto Carlos.
Yeah.
Maldini. Desailly. Cafu.
Okay, and I'm writing these down, and we're going to go through them all. Go on, let's hit the midfield then.
I've gone for Lothar Matthäus because I thought someone's got to do some defending somewhere along the line. I've got him in there. And then I've got two. I've sort of done a 4-3-3, so I've got Zidane and Zico playing just in front of Matthäus. And up front, I've got Brazilian Ronaldo, Maradona, and Messi.
Yeah, you see.
And I've tried to look at players as well who kind of almost like inspired. If you look at the 86 World Cup, Argentina won it because Maradona inspired them. I think Zidane did that in 98. I think Messi did it for Argentina last time round. And so that's, and also I think it's just childhood memory, but when Brazil get to the World Cup or they play their first game, then the World Cup's starting.
It's a magical memory, isn't it? Yeah, and players like Roberto Carlos, they're fantastic to watch. It's there's a few Brazilians in there. Yeah. How come we got Buffon in goal? Because I think this is a difficult one, picking the goalkeeper.
It's really hard because if you sort of look back and you think there's, Dino Zoff was obviously a famous goalkeeper, but I don't really remember him so much. Also, never saw Gordon Banks play. Was it Yeltsin? Known as one of the all-time sort of greats and stuff. I did think about Barthez as well. But it's really hard. So I just thought, well, someone's got to try and stop some goals going in that team because there's no one's really defending. So we go with probably the best of all time.
Be a good watch. It'll be a bit more entertaining than last night's England game, I'll tell you.
I would think so, to be honest, when I look at that. I mean, the midfield just looks spicy, doesn't it? You've got
I just remember Zico. That's my sort of childhood memory of looking at maybe like the 82 World Cup, maybe when I really was young. I just remember watching Zico thinking, oh my God, how does he do that? He was just an absolute wizard on the ball.
He was the first player I saw do a scissors kick, and it was that 82 World Cup. And I remember that. I've got fond memories of that World Cup because I had chicken pox. Living on the ferry then, I watched every single game. It was great. 2 weeks, and so I just watched football all the time. And I remember that Brazil squad, but they lost early on. But the Brazil-Italy game, probably that 3-2, probably the game that I can remember most. And I remember the final. So the midfield's looking good. R9 up front, probably for me, probably one of the best strikers in history. Shame his career ended early. But I do think it's hard to leave out. So, random question: who's the manager? Who's your manager for that team?
Who's my manager? You've got to be a special manager for that, isn't you?
It's hard, this.
You Keegan. Because he's the only one that would pick that team apart from me.
Okay, because of his attacking. Yeah, this is good. Okay, we'll go with Keegan as well. Right, Jamie, your one, mate. What have you got here?
Well, I kind of went back through like the history. I just tried to do a bit of research, and it is impossible because like some of the names I've left, Messi's not in it. For instance, like people will shoot me for that, but you just can't fit Puskás. He's not in it. If you're doing an all-time ever, it's just like the amount of players that don't get in, and you're like you just can't physically fit them all in. So it's mental. But I picked in goal. I picked Lev Yashin from the Soviet Union, who's widely recognised as like the greatest goalkeeper of all time. He saved over 150 penalties and was the only goalkeeper to ever win the Ballon d'Or. And they even named the Golden Glove award that the best goalkeeper for the World Cup gets. Now, that was originally called the Lev Yashin Award, and then they changed it to the Golden Glove. But I think his name's still attached somewhere. So I had to stick him in for starters. The back four, I've got Maldini as well at left back, Franz Beckenbauer and Bobby Moore at centre halves, and Cafu on the right. I've got a midfield of Portuguese Ronaldo on the left, Mateus and Bobby Charlton in the middle, and Garrincha on the right wing. Playing just behind the striker, Diego Maradona, and obviously Pele up front.
Oh, see, that's a tasty forward line as well. Garrincha is an unusual one. So I know what I can guess why you've picked him. Do you know any? There's some crazy stories about that guy.
He's well, he won the World Cup in 58 and 1962. And in 62, it said that he'd done it almost single-handedly after Pele was injured in the second group game. Brazil only ever lost once with Garrincha in the side and never ever lost with him and Pele in the same side. He was the first player when they won it in 62. He obviously won the trophy. He won Player of the Tournament and the Golden Boot, the first player ever to do so. And oddly enough, he was born with a spine defect, which he overcome. And his right leg was 6 centimeters longer than his left leg. So whether that helped him cut inside quicker, I don't really know. But it's quite a weird one, isn't it? I think he ended up. I'm not positive, but I think he ended up sort of a bit of an alcoholic. I think once his football career finished, I think his life went on a bit of a downward spiral. But pretty amazing story nonetheless.
Sadly, yeah, I just the name rings a bell because I remember watching the documentary and it was just like a simple boy from some village, one leg shorter than the other, and being remembered 50 years later. In a sense, you've also gone, Mateus, in central midfield.
Yeah, I mean, you like I said, Italia 90, he was colossal, wasn't he? He was probably, at the time, the most complete player in world football. Without him, West Germany and probably not winning that tournament. He run the show. He was different class.
It was different. I'm very interested here. Ronaldo, Portuguese Ronaldo on the right. And
on the left.
Yeah.
On the left, when he started off for Man United, he started off for United on the right, obviously being one of the best right-sided midfielders in Premier League history. But when he went to Madrid, they played him on the left, and he had a stat. He played 406 games on the left for Real Madrid, scoring 363 goals, winning 5 Ballon d'Ors, and is the first player to play in 5 different World Cups. Obviously, this year he's going to make it 6. So whether he can score in his 6th, but you wouldn't bet against it, would you, even at his age? But on figures alone, they're just phenomenal. So, I had to stick him in.
That's an incredible stat, isn't it? It's been 6 World Cups.
Yeah.
You wouldn't bet against him because even if he's half fit, a free kick goes in.
And he's nigh on half carried. I mean, I know Portugal have got some decent players, but sort of 10 years ago, 12 years ago, he literally was just carried that side on his own. A bit like what you were saying about Mateus and Messi for Argentina last time out. I mean, Ronaldo's had that country's responsibility on his shoulders for like decades now, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's true. Incredible player. What about your manager?
Sam Allardyce. Get Big Sam in. Big Sam will get us out of the group.
Imagine him trying to tell them.
Lump it forward, hit Pele over the top, lump it forward.
1-0, lads, we'll be all right. We can have minutes left.
Yeah. Good luck getting those wingers tracking back. You know?
Yeah.
He was a big geezer, and he big Sam. He wouldn't want to give you on the wrong side.
No.
Do things right. So I'll give you mine. I've gone for Zoff in goal. Partly, like I said, because the '82 World Cup it's probably my first World Cup memory, and I remember watching it. Then I've got Carlos at left back, Desai, and I've gone Cannavaro because I thought he was brilliant when Italy won it. I think he was. I think he was it 2006, weren't it? I think he was only a little geezer as well, weren't he? And I think he carried them through it. I've gone. The only difference here, I've gone for Lamb, if I've pronounced it right, the German guy. I just thought, even when we were talking about that Brazil one and that, I thought he was a fantastic player. He could play anywhere across the back, couldn't he, as well? And that mentality, I think, in a World Cup squad is needed. But again, I'm going to need to score a lot of goals to get a game. So my team against Paul's here is going to be, I don't know, about 17. So the one we've all agreed on, Mateus, is in the middle. He's my defensive midfielder. Again, he got Ballon d'Or that year when they won it as well. And so I'm not need to say you've spoken about him already. And then I've got kind of, this attack is all over the place. But in front of him, because he's on his own, he can do the work of 3 men. I've got Maradona and Gaza in front of him. I picked Gaza.
A good party off the field, wasn't it?
Well, I've got to think of this as well. Wait till you hear the next one. Hang on. So, Maradona and Gaza in there. Speaking of the party theme, I've got Ronaldinho over on the left. Right? Because now I've got a triple there, and I've got Messi on the other wing. Because they can all interchange. I mean, Maradona would be behind. My striker is R9, Ronaldo as well. I just picked them out because I thought, you know what, the fun on the pitch would be incredible. You've got Mateus there, who's trying to keep them all together, deadly serious, very like this stereotype. Desai and Cannavaro behind him, and then the rest of the team, it's pretty much like we're going to do whatever we want. And I would love to see players like Maradona, Gaza, Ronaldinho in the same team. I think the football would be outrageous. It might not be too tactical because it's not lump it forward. It's just get the ball to Mateus and he can pass it to anyone.
I think that's the real shame with Gascoigne, isn't it? Because he was up in that crowd of players and he could have, like you say, easily fitted into any team that you wanted. But the downfall was just too quick. I did think about Gascoigne, but really, I mean, I know he had a good Euro 96, but he wasn't the Gascoigne of 1990, was he? And I think if he'd have managed, things had worked out differently, and maybe just the injuries alone. But England, I'm sure would have been better off having a prime Gascoigne for longer. He was special. Yeah.
Just quickly, Rob.
Yep.
Just quickly, I've done a quick 11 for World Cup wrong-uns, right? Not a bad team either. Not a bad team, is it? So you got Higuita in goal, the nutter from Colombia.
The school
he used to go wandering about, and he scored 3 times. So he used to take set pieces sometimes. He scored 3. So you got Evra in defence. He led the mutiny against Raymond Domenech with the French squad. You got Frank Rijkaard when he gobbed on Rudy Voller twice and got them both sent off. Roy Keane, he walked out, as we said earlier on. Rigobert Song of Cameroon, who was the youngest ever player to get sent off, and he was sent off in 2 different World Cups. You got Rivaldo on the right for when they kicked the ball at him. Kicked the ball at his leg and he clutched his face and fell to the floor. Ratin, we've spoke about, who refused to leave the pitch. Zinedine Zidane, when he went mental on his last game in a World Cup final and headbutted the guy's chest. Willie Johnston of Scotland, who was sent home in disgrace in 1978 for failing the drugs test, which brings us to Diego Maradona, who did the same in 94 and was a cheating so-and-so in 86, so he's on the list. And up front is Luis Suarez biting people, and he can always stick him in goal in the last minute to tip one over the bar. So there you go.
And everyone in Ghana still searching.
Everyone's fuming, aren't they? He won't be going there in a hurry, will he?
Help me to get off the plane. I just want to add, my manager was Bobby Robson because just heart overhead. I'd have loved to see him have some players like that to manage. I mean, the party bit would have been difficult. So that as we've got that team, and they're all good teams, I want to pick a kit for them, a World Cup kit. So I want you to have a little think here, all right? It's probably your favourite shirt, really, but what kit would you give them, Paul?
If I was going to go out today and buy one, I've written it down. It's the '82 Admiral England kit with the blue and the red up on the shoulder. And I've always quite liked the Croatia one, actually, but I don't know if that's because it reminds me of the Chelsea Commodore.
Yeah,
top as well. But I've always liked the Croatia kit.
I've got that down. What about you, Jamie? What's your kit?
The kit I quite liked. It was you'd be quite leery to wear it. I don't think it was in the World Cup either. It was in Euro '88, and the Dutch one. You know, the it had like it weren't squares, but it was all different shades of orange. I quite like that kit. That was pretty cool. And I mean, you look at the old style, sort of classic, sort of World Cup 1970, sort of Brazil, just the classic yellow, and you know, I mean, it's that what you said earlier on about the not seeing them. You see them every 4 years and these magical names. There was definitely something in that. And the contrast on the telly was all weird and it was really bright yellow and these exotic names doing this stuff that you didn't see people in. There was something about that. And that classic Brazil kit.
Yeah, I've gone. The '82 kit is one of my favourites. I remember having it, and the 1990 England one because we've spoken about that World Cup. Croatia honourable mention. Mine would be that Mexico '98 because I love the green with the Aztec head on it in the markings. It was outrageous. Their goalkeeper designed, still does. He's playing this summer. Designs his own shirts. So it's not someone at Nike or Adidas. He designs his own shirts, so they're really leery. And I think it's his thing when you're talking about goalkeepers like Higuita and who was the guy? Is it Paraguay? Is it
Chilavert?
Yeah, he was nuts as well.
Yeah, he was. He used to score a few old goals as well.
He took 3 kicks in the game.
Yeah.
You know, a friend of mine is Colombian, and he said because in South America, every boy or girl, when they start playing football, they all want to be a number 10. Right? They all want to be a famous number 10 or a 9. He said they get shunted into other positions, and they're like, yeah, but I'm still going to play that way. When you think of people like Roberto Carlos, that's what he did. He didn't defend, did he? He was just quick and get the ball forward, and I'm going to have a shot. So I think they're great. The kits are great. It's the memory, the summer feeling.
Yeah, I mean the West Germany kit. I know it's painful for us to think of it, but that kit in 1990 with the sort of German thing that went across the chest, that was a pretty classic kit. When he with the black shorts, he was proper smart.
Yeah. Well, I'll be fair,
you just couldn't wear it, could you? You couldn't bring yourself to go and buy one.
Could I just bring myself to put Matthias in the team? I'm still salty over that guy.
Yeah, it's just because he took the shirt off. It was great. That's difficult. You can never wear that, but some people do. So that's going to lead me on, guys, because these teams are great. But now I want to talk about now. Now, I know, Jamie, we've only got about 10, 15 minutes, right?
Right.
And we all need to speak. But I do want to go through some predictions or things you hope to see or your predictions for this World Cup. So I'll let you go first, Jamie. All right. Give me some thought, that's all.
I mean, my thoughts originally are that I don't think much of Brazil. I don't think they're going to have a great tournament. I think they're probably the most overrated team in the tournament. When I'm looking at their squad, I mean, Neymar's 37, and then they've got names like sort of Paqueta and I can't pronounce it. What's the guy from Newcastle? Bruno.
Oh, Gilliard.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, Martinelli. I mean, he's had a decent season at Brentford. Igor Thiago, but they're not like names that are going to strike fear in the heart of the opposition like some of the old Brazilian teams. And I think that they're just massively overrated. They only finished 5th of 10 in their World Cup qualifying group, behind Ecuador, behind Uruguay. And I think they probably will win their group with Morocco, Scotland and Haiti. But I don't think they're going to get past the 32. I think they play either Holland or Japan. And I think they get come unstuck against a pair of those. So I don't expect Brazil to progress far at all, personally.
That's your shock one, isn't it? What about you, Paul? You think it could be a shock here somewhere?
Funny enough, I was asked the other day, and I was just looking back on what I'd said because I couldn't remember. But I don't say it's a shot. I fancy Norway to go quite a long way, actually. I don't know the permutations of it, how it would work. I just think they've got a decent side that could do well. Whether the weather, like you say, whether the weather sort of turns them over a little bit, I'm not sure. But I think they might do something. I mean, there's always a shock team that gets further than you think. I can't see America. I mean, normally the home team. Is it South Korea, and they had Hiddink, and it was there, wasn't it? And they got a long way. I don't see America doing that. So I'm not so sure they're going to do anything this year. But yeah, my I suppose my wild card would be Norway to get somewhere close.
Well, they've got a striker who knows how to put the ball in the net.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Maybe the heat. I don't know if it's personally. I want to see. Obviously, we want England to do well, but we probably know how that's going to end. I hope we're wrong.
They're in the French group, aren't they? Norway.
I'm not
They're
sure.
with France, aren't they? So I think that if say they finish second in the group,
Yeah.
you expect France to win the group. Norway probably second, which probably gives them Ecuador in the last 32. Or they're a really stubborn side. Lots of 0-0 draws and 1-0 wins. They finished second in South American qualifying, so they're a right tough nut to crack in that heat. And it was only the heat that of the Norwegian players, maybe coming from Scandinavia, they may well struggle, but Ecuador, I suppose, are beatable, and that gives them sort of a route of Japan and then England or Mexico in the quarterfinal, should they still be in the tournament.
Yeah, I'm going for Mexico to do quite well. I remember, what was it last time? Morocco, wasn't it? Got to the semi-finals. No one. There's normally an outside Croatia. I remember in '98. Because obviously it's a bit predictable. So I think everyone would like to see some kind of shock. I think Mexico would do well. One, the heat isn't the problem. A lot of their players are based there. I do watch some Mexican football as I'm doing Spanish. And they'll be at home. And their fans, well, they're nuts. My mate lives in Mexico City. He said it's ready. Like the whole city is buzzing for this. The noise would be incredible. The atmosphere would be brilliant.
I think your words could come back and haunt us because they'll win their group, we'll win our group, and I think we'll both get through the last 32, and that takes us to Mexico City and the Azteca to play Mexico at altitude in that heat, and that would be a big obstacle for England. I mean, I think the Azteca's nearly 7,500 feet above sea level in that searing heat, and their record at the Azteca is phenomenal. Mexico, that would be one hell of a hurdle for us to get over.
They're pretty good, yeah, and it will be hot. I mean, it's like 20 degrees there now, and it's 5 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, I mean, no, we will see with it. So we've got some shocks there. What about your real prediction? What would you say? Who would your last four be, Paul? Without working
France
groups, yeah.
I do have a sneaky suspicion that England are going to get to the semis, actually, because we've got a goal scorer, which I think is hugely important in tournament football. If Kane catches fire while he's over there, not from the heat, but on the pitch, then I think and we have got some really, really good player. I mean, Bellingham. I mean, this what we need is this is Bellingham's World Cup. The same as we're talking about Maradona or Zidane. If he can get going, and Tuchel I think he's one of the best managers out there. So maybe more heart than head, but I think France, England, I think Argentina are going to be there or thereabouts. And I say my wild card is Norway to get up to the semis, but that sounds pretty impossible. Now, what Jamie said, I didn't really research it, but again, they've got a goal scorer. That's what I thought.
Yeah, no, they've always got a chance with him up front, haven't they?
Well, that's another question I've got. Who do you think will be top scorer?
I had a bet on this yesterday, funny enough. You know what I'm like, Rob.
Yeah.
I've backed Lautaro Martinez of Argentina at 28-1. I got him yesterday. Got a penalty yesterday for Argentina in a friendly against Honduras. He's 28-1. Argentina's route to the semi-final. They win the group. Algeria, Austria, Jordan. Should be no problem winning that group. Gives them USA, Uruguay, Colombia before a semi, maybe against England. So you've got definite 7 games. So I went for an Argentinian. He's the top scorer in Serie A this season, and that's the second time he's done that. He was the top scorer in the Copa America in 2024. He's available at 28-1 each way, 4 places. You've only got to score 3 or 4 to draw your dough. So, yeah, I backed him yesterday at 28-1. I think Argentina are cert for the semi-finals, and it'll be France or Holland against Spain, and probably Argentina, England.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? I looked at England, probably the same. I think France or Spain are my favourites to win it, just because I think the squads are just so strong. It wouldn't surprise me to see Argentina there, because you take Messi out, a lot of that squad is still quite young, and they've got experience with it, and they
They know how to win it, don't they?
Yeah, well, that's my thing. A bit like the Germans, and these teams that win things over and over, they just know how to do it, and so they turn up for the tournament. So I looked at France, Spain, and England, and probably Argentina, but maybe it'll be Mexico if my prediction came true. But you never know, do you? Top scorer is quite a difficult one because you look at who have England got. How many games will Kane play in that group? Is he going to risk him against Panama, for example? I
suppose it depends if we're already through. I mean, we're going to want to win the group. It's a little bit of a nicer route winning the group than it would be being runners up. But I suppose it's how the land lies after 2 games.
Yeah, one was Mbappe because it takes penalties and that for France. Your tip, so people can go out. If you get any money off that, let us know, and you can buy us a pint. So this is great. So this all kicks off. When is it? Thursday evening, isn't it? This kicks off
Friday. Isn't it Friday?
I thought it was Thursday, but I've got Thursday on my calendar. It's 9 o'clock where I live. It kicks off. Mexico, South Africa. So some of these games, we're going to do a few more of these podcasts, and if anyone wants to come on, just let us know in the comments. Some of these games we're not going to be able to watch because we've got things like jobs and kids. So I'm not watching at 3 o'clock in the morning, but some people will. Good luck to them. So thank you, gentlemen. Okay, I hope you all have a great week. Let's see if we get some of these predictions to come true. And we'll see. We'll do another one, and we'll go over it after a few rounds in this World Cup and see how wrong we were. Or how right. Hey, thank you, gentlemen. See you next time.
Cheers. Thanks a lot, boys. Cheers. Nice one.